Guchen, do you agree with what Subir is saying?
Well, I agree with him in part. Certainly, you can't disagree with much of what he said, but I would place a different emphasis. Let me first say that I do agree with the starting point that Lalit Mansingh began with. Yes, China is a threat. Now, in the eyes of China, America is the big threat. And China sees the world in hierarchical terms. They see that, look, we are number 2, we are going to be number 1, and we have to make sure the US becomes number 2. And that's the way they see the world, and India is a distant sort of has run, maybe an elephant or whatever you want to call, whichever animal, Subir, you want to pick on. However, this, and just to complete that point, I think the only way we can catch China's attention for us in India is to make them seriously believe that China should seriously believe that India should be threatening to be aligned with the United States without being aligned to the United States. They do see America as a real threat. And if India becomes a much closer ally in their eyes, and you can do this, it's a perceptual thing I'm talking about. You don't have to become an ally, but if your enemy sees that you are an ally, that enemy begins to worry and take notice. So that's just a point I'm making. But let's come back to the discourse of with Shubir. And there, of course, I think he's right about infrastructure as a key area of cooperation. Frankly, China has built the most amazing infrastructure in the last 30 years, and we would be crazy not to try to learn and benefit from that infrastructure. In fact, we are too prickly. The analogy is very clear that China sees the United States as a threat, but China sees the United States also as their biggest trading opportunity. Similarly, we can see India and China, and we can perceive China as a threat, but this should not stop us from moving ahead very, very rapidly. And as he put it, neighbors who should have a much bigger. Our trade China is our largest trading partner, about 60 to 70 billion dollars in trade, but that's small. United States is 8 times more for China. We are less than 2% of China's trade. And so what I'm trying to say is that we should and I think Modi's right here. He's single-mindedly focused on the economic side. Now, here, these are the 2 fastest growing economies in the world. One is growing faster, the other one is perhaps slowing down. But you have very natural reasons to cooperate. And so how is it that we can get the dragon and the elephant to dance? I think you should use that word, elephant, not tiger. We are not a tiger. We have stamina. We will go on and on. Tiger runs out of steam. We're not that kind. So it's the wrong analogy. Elephant. So how can we get the dragon and elephant to dance? Well, we saw it this week in 3 examples. You had Foxconn, the largest employer in the world, private sector employer in the world, the largest creator of jobs in China, announced that they are going to build 12 factories in India to employ 1 million people. And this was preceded the day before by an announcement by Xiaomi, who is a mobile phone. They've got number 5 place market share in the Indian market, and they are growing fast. They also pledged, right now they sell only on Flipkart and Snapdeal and so on, but they're going to set up 100 stores, they're going to set up huge number of service centers, and they're going to set up a factory. And they have just actually started in Andhra Pradesh. they have moved their factory from Chennai to Andhra Pradesh, and they are moving right ahead. Now, this is an example of how it may be that elephant here has the advantage in terms of dancing, because we are the ones getting the jobs. But the fact is, those jobs are going to leave China anyway. And so whoever gets those jobs is the one who's going. And what is the critical thing where I think you left it at infrastructure. To me, more than even important than infrastructure, for India to be worthy of this kind of investment that's going to come from China, or factories that will abandon China, is our ranking on the ease of doing business. We are 142 in the world. We are regarded as one of the most hostile places in the world to invest. And the red tape absolutely threatens the possibility of a foreign investor. So if we can just do that ease of doing business, if that can work, I think we can dance.